Hello, harmonic singer from Norway. I couldn't spot your name from looking at your channel page, but first of all, I'd like to thank you for your video response. It was very insightful, very meaningful to me. My video that got the most attention was intentionally difficult. I retroactively named it Part 1 of 565, being an arbitrary number, because it was the first of what was intended as a 3-part series, but ended up, because of a misupload, being a 4-part series. And it's a body of work that I don't feel I concluded well. So I wanted to imply that it's an ongoing series. The reason your video was so meaningful to me was because I felt like it expressed my spirit better than, and my intentions, better than my video that it's a response to. Part of what I was doing, I find rage to be an emotion that is hard for me to access. Even after the attacks of September 11th, it was only a week or so later that I realized that anger, that hatred, would be a very valid response to it. But the closest emotion that I felt was frustration. And certainly frustration overlaps with anger. Part of what I attempt to accomplish with my rant videos is tapping into that emotion, rage. It makes it somewhat false, but no more false than method actors who are attempting to tap into the part of themselves that is the character they're portraying. So I really appreciated your video, because I am actually a man largely at peace. And I didn't mean to throw in the masculine there. I am a being. I am a conscious entity who is largely at peace. And some of the things you spoke about in your video, the philosophical peace you woke up with, the other reality, the one that you feel is more important, these are things that I agree with and I was trying to get at. I'm glad that there are some people out there willing to see through the rage and anger I was expressing to reach the meaning that I was intending. The videos that receive the most attention are very emotion-filled. My natural tendency is to speak about things much in the way you did, which is calmly, in a calculated manner, not necessarily linear, but following a train of thought of my own. And that doesn't draw the most attention on YouTube. I was not actually addressing God. My video was not to punctuate my first statement. I was not saying God, comma, you're a fucked up empty eyeball. I was saying God, exclamation point. And then continuing on with what I wanted to say. It was a not intentional blasphemy, but it was just a exclamation. This morning I ran across, I was at an office and there was a chihuahua out, a rather old one, walking around the office, but I heard another one in the back, and so I inquired, is that is there another dog hidden back there? And he said, yeah, he's the Hellraiser. And before I left, I asked, could I meet him? And he said, well, yeah, but he's really mean. He's just going to bark at you and bite at your heels. And I said, I can handle it. And sure enough, this Chihuahua came out, and it was a black Chihuahua with white hair here and there, but primarily black. And this thing was just vicious. I mean, it acted like I was the most threatening thing it had ever encountered, and apparently it does this with all strangers, and it even took its owner a long time to overcome this fear that the dog had. And the dog just barked and barked and barked, and I wish I knew specifically what to do to calm it, but the only thing I could do, the only thing I could control was myself. And so I stayed calm. I used slow motions. I offered my hand to it so that it could smell me. And it just barked and barked, and occasionally got close to my hand, but it would just nip at it, not to cause damage, but to imply threat. Anyways, that didn't really go anywhere. I eventually gave up and left. I wasn't going to win over that dog in the short time that I was spending in this office. So I bring that up because I think it's an interesting metaphor for the haters, as they're called, the people who leave negative comments and attack those of us who are just trying to share our own viewpoint and our own understandings of the world. Such a defensive stance, just the assertion, you need to check yourself. You need to stay in line, or else, threat, bully, bully, bully. Resetting the illusions. I try and find a moment of peace daily, and I fail. It's probably about once a week that it occurs, and it's a moment where all the confusion is shed, and my environment stops being things. It stops being labels. It stops being trees with leaves and cars passing by, and it becomes almost a part of me. Just a moment of focus, and it feels good. It's I think the state of mind that animals dwell in most of the time when they're not hungry or in danger, and so it's easy to see this in pets, how they're willing to sit without stimulation, without activity, and they seem very at peace and very receptive. Wide pupils, just taking in the moment. But yeah, it is peace with the world, and that doesn't mean it causes the world to be at peace. But I think if the whole world was able to tap into that easier, was able to find peace, confidence, strength, and connection with the rest of the world, it would be a positive thing.